Cena, Taker out of the blocks, rights and lefts, the best pure striker.
In the world of WWE, where larger-than-life personalities clash in epic battles, there are moments that leave fans shaking their heads in disbelief. These are the matches that were either too bizarre, poorly executed, or simply didn't make sense, leaving a lasting impression for all the wrong reasons. From legends stumbling in the ring to storylines that missed the mark entirely, WWE has its fair share of embarrassing losses. In this article, we'll take a look at some of the most cringeworthy moments in WWE history, showcasing the matches that didn't go according to plan and still haunt fans to this day. The Undertaker versus the Fake Undertaker, SummerSlam 1994. When WWE booked the match between The Undertaker and the Fake Undertaker at SummerSlam 1994, it seemed like a bold and intriguing storyline. The Undertaker had been sidelined due to injury, so WWE decided to introduce an imposter version of the iconic Dead Man, portrayed by Brian Lee. Ted DiBiase, the leader of the $1 Million Corporation, claimed he had signed the real Undertaker, but it became clear that something was off. The real Undertaker made his return, and the showdown at SummerSlam was set. What followed was a spectacle unlike any other. The fake Undertaker, attempting to mimic the real Dead Man's eerie presence, came across as a poor imitation. His movements, although deliberate, felt stiff and unconvincing, like a shadow of the original. The crowd, torn between confusion and disbelief, watched as Brian Lee performed awkward versions of The Undertaker's signature moves. Some fans cheered for the real Undertaker, while others remained perplexed by the bizarre nature of the match. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker and Kane, Crown Jewel 2018. Next up, we have one of the most highly anticipated, yet disappointing tag team matches in WWE history. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker and Kane at Crown Jewel 2018. This clash of legends, featuring two of WWE's most iconic teams, was supposed to be a celebration of their combined 100-plus years of in-ring experience. However, what fans witnessed was nothing short of a disaster. As the match began, the chemistry between the four superstars felt off. Despite being legends in their own right, the pacing and timing of their moves were staggered, giving the impression that something was missing. The first major blunder occurred when Triple H, attempting to leapfrog over Kane, landed awkwardly on his knee, resulting in an injury that would trouble him for the rest of the match. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 20. The showdown between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20 was a spectacle that fans had eagerly awaited. Both men were at the peak of their careers, each boasting a reputation as one of the most dominant forces in WWE. However, the match became infamous for everything that went wrong. Before the bell even rang, rumors had been swirling that both Goldberg and Lesnar were planning to leave WWE, and the crowd, well aware of this, was already turned off. As soon as the match began, it became evident that neither man was fully invested. Goldberg and Lesnar hesitated, seemingly unsure of how to perform, which resulted in a slow, plodding match. One of the most memorable moments occurred when Goldberg attempted his signature spear on Lesnar. Normally, this move sends the crowd into a frenzy, but on this night, Lesnar barely sold it. The lack of energy from both competitors was palpable, and the Madison Square Garden crowd quickly turned on them, filling the arena with boos and chants of frustration. John Laurinaitis versus John Cena, Over the Limit 2012, WWE. Over the Limit 2012 featured one of the most bizarre main events in history. John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. The controversy surrounding this match stemmed from the fact that Laurinaitis, the top heel authority figure at the time, wasn't exactly known for his in-ring prowess. The decision to make this match the main event, instead of a thrilling WWE Championship contest between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, only added fuel to the fire. Laurinaitis, also known as Big Johnny, hadn't wrestled in years, and it was obvious that he was struggling to keep up with Cena, who carried the match for most of its duration. The crowd, expecting an exciting showdown, instead witnessed an awkward, plodding affair with poorly executed moves. Cena, the consummate professional, tried his best to make the match entertaining by toying with Laurinaitis, taunting him and delivering humiliating moves that only emphasized how out of place Laurinaitis was. Seth Rollins vs. Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell 2019. One of the most controversial and confusing matches in recent WWE history took place at Hell in a Cell 2019, featuring Seth Rollins defending his Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt, known as The Fiend. Fans were eagerly awaiting this clash, hoping for a brutal and intense encounter between two of WWE's most dynamic characters. At first, the match lived up to expectations. Rollins unleashed a flurry of offense, hitting Wyatt with multiple stomps and using various weapons to keep the Fiend down. But the Fiend, known for his supernatural resilience, kept rising to his feet, shrugging off Rollins' attacks as if he were impervious to pain. The match took a darker turn when Rollins, growing desperate, grabbed a sledgehammer and used it on the Fiend, seemingly incapacitating him. The Undertaker vs. Goldberg, Super Showdown 2019. Two of WWE's most iconic legends, The Undertaker and Goldberg, collided at Super Showdown 2019 in what was meant to be a nostalgic clash of titans. However, what unfolded was a nightmare that fans would rather forget. The match started with a strong beginning, as Goldberg hit Undertaker with a spear right out of the gate, drawing cheers from the crowd. But things quickly took a turn for the worse. Goldberg, known for his explosive power, seemed to struggle with his stamina, and his timing was off throughout the match. The first major blotch came when Goldberg attempted a second spear, only to crash headfirst into the ring post, busting himself open. Blood poured from his forehead as the match continued, despite his evident struggle. The Undertaker, dealing with his own injuries, was unable to carry the match effectively, and the physical limitations of both men led to a series of poorly executed moves. Big Show vs. Akabono, WrestleMania 21. Who can forget when WWE hosted a sumo match between Big Show and Akabono at WrestleMania 21? The idea itself was bizarre, and the execution was even worse. Big Show, one of WWE's most imposing figures, was set to face off against Akabono, a sumo wrestler making his WWE debut. The match was billed as something unique and exciting, but it quickly became one of the most confusing and awkward moments in WrestleMania history. Akabono, a skilled sumo wrestler, dominated the match from the start, showcasing his superior technique and balance. Big Show, despite his size and strength, was out of his element, struggling to find his footing in this unconventional contest. The match ended quickly, with Akabono using his sumo skills to push Big Show out of the ring, and the crowd, initially intrigued by the novelty, was left in shock. The sumo match, which had been hyped as an exciting spectacle, was nothing more than a one-sided affair that left fans disappointed and questioning WWE's decision to feature it at such a monumental event. Michael Cole vs. Jerry Lawler, WrestleMania 27. WrestleMania 27 saw an unexpected and embarrassing match between two WWE commentators, Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler. The feud between the two had been building for months, with Cole adopting a heel persona and mocking Lawler relentlessly. Fans were curious to see how this rivalry would play out in the ring, but what they witnessed was an uncomfortable spectacle. Cole, with his limited in-ring experience, struggled to keep up with Lawler, a seasoned veteran. The match was filled with awkward moments and botched moves, leaving the crowd unimpressed. Cole spent much of the match hiding in his protective coal mine, while Lawler chased him around the ring. The match reached its low point when the anonymous Raw general manager reversed Lawler's victory, citing biased officiating by guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. Triple H versus Scott Steiner, Royal Rumble 2003. In 2003, Triple H defended his World Heavyweight Championship against Scott Steiner at the Royal Rumble, but the match quickly became one of the most embarrassing moments in WWE history. Steiner, known for his impressive physique and power, struggled to keep up with Triple H, and the match suffered as a result. Despite Triple H's efforts to carry the match, it was filled with awkward moments and poorly executed moves. The Steiner recliner, one of Steiner's signature moves, was botched, and the lack of chemistry between the two competitors was evident. Triple H eventually used a sledgehammer to secure the win, but the match was a far cry from the thrilling contest fans had hoped for.